Eagles fans everywhere, this is for you.
He's at the 20.
They should stop this one.
What you got? Domination, snot bubbles.
He throws, complete, touchdown. They've got him again. They've got him again. Sack Crumpler, what a throw, what a hit, what a catch.
Defense is just way too much for the count.
It's caught by Alshon Jeffrey for a touchdown. He pushes, touchdown. Jalen Hunt, touchdown. A.J. Brown, a run. He's going to score.
It's a touchdown by Nick Foles. The train is in the end zone.
Touchdown.
Torrey Smith in for the touchdown is Jeffrey in.
Touchdown. Jalen Hurts.
So the Birds could essentially make one of the biggest moves of the offseason. And with the Packers releasing Jaire Alexander and his contract being slightly on the expensive side, many fans would love to get him, but I'm skeptical about this move. Don't get me wrong, I love Jaire Alexander as an elite all-pro player, and one thing he can bring back that we're losing in C.J. Gardner-Johnson is that swag and no-nonsense type of approach to the game, because we know Philly could definitely use that on the second level on the defense. And we've seen him battle with elite divisional opponents like Justin Jefferson, and he's literally been a shutdown corner. QBs don't really throw to his side of the field. I'm more skeptical about his health and contract, and I know this would be another big splash on the defensive side of the ball, similar to last season on the offensive side of the ball, but would it actually be a smart move for Philly? I got to be honest here. I think Alexander is a big-time player, but when he's healthy, and health has been the main obstacle for Jaire and a contributing factor as why he was released from the Green Bay Packers to begin with. Alexander missed a total of 20 games through 2023 and 24, including the final 8 games of the 2024 regular season. Now, I've been keeping an eye on this since 2023, and I honestly think the main reason he missed that amount of games through the 2023 and 24 season was not mainly due to injuries. Many can remember when Packers head coach Matt LaFleur suspended Alexander for ruining the coin toss, they said, with the captains pre-game. LaFleur didn't make Alexander the captain in the same week that the Green Bay Packers went on the road to play the Carolina Panthers in Alexander's hometown of Charlotte, in which I believe became the beginning of the disgruntlement for Alexander. Jaire was only going into the 2025 season with no guaranteed money and a low cap hit for the Packers, but $17 million in cap savings post June 1st. So of course Alexander would want to stay with Green Bay, right? Wrong. And the two things keeping Alexander from finding a home in the NFL from any team really is his asking price. And as I've said before, he is an all-pro type player, but only when Alexander is healthy. Teams would rather not spend the big bucks for a player who's likely to ride IR all season or even miss a huge amount of games like he did in the 2024 season. As reported, the Bills and the Cheeseheads were already in talks this offseason trying to get a deal done, but couldn't agree to a set price. Alexander is only 28 years old, which means old folks' homes in NFL terms, but Alexander was in the top 5 most highest paid cornerbacks last season, and seeing as though he couldn't come to an agreement with the Packers, it's looking like Jaire and his agent isn't budging until he reportedly makes the top of the market money. But if anyone can manipulate the cap and keep players happy and also keep them playing at a high level, it's Eagles GM Howie Roseman. And we know from Howie's past himself, he said that if there is a player, a superstar player that becomes available, the Birds are at least doing their due diligence. So let's just hope Howie is at least interested. And I hear the rumors surrounding Trey Hendrickson, and I know it's fun to make predictions. And I remember last season, I thought people were crazy saying we could get Saquon, but we did, and I was wrong. But this year, I don't see us necessarily making a push for the veteran Hendrickson, mainly because his asking price is so high. And with the Birds having $30 million left in cap space, I don't think they're ready to spend it on a veteran who, if he came to Philly, would be on a 1-year deal on a ring chase and likely get a contract elsewhere next season. So with the Eagles having a nice amount of cap space and cap dollars, I think it may be best to just go with the guys that you have in-house towards the preseason or in camp, how we can take a look and see what the Birds need on the defensive side. Maybe go and get Jaire Alexander. I would be more comfortable doing that, but you are essentially taking reps away from Keely Ringo, who's fighting in OTAs as we speak to get a starting position. Now, the Birds had looked pretty good in their mandatory minicamp one day, though, and we're going to dive right into that now. With Hurts starting 4 for 4 in team drills and completing passes and got a 30-yard bomb down to Smitty for a tud, going 20 for 21 in a tud, no INTs. Hurts ended his third practice open to the media, 50 for 55, 1 touchdown and 0 interceptions, with barely any incompletions. And just good to see Jalen doing great in practice, I guess you could say that. Kyle McCord had a great day in practice with some nice throws that turned heads, and Keely Ringo on the defensive side of the ball at cornerback has been doing great so far, I've heard, with pass breakups in the end zone and even locking down A.J. Brown on a route that made Hurts think twice. It's really refreshing to see Ringo flourishing and maintaining that starting position. I think he can do it. And even though Cooper DeJean is getting some outside corner reps as well, Ringo has been reportedly been doing good in camp. Now, Jahai Campbell didn't do much, but did get some linebacker drills in, and he's looking like he's ready to go before we know it in August. Former wide receiver and Eagle legend Deshaun Jackson was in attendance to get the boys hype, and the Birds had all of their players in attendance for mandatory minicamp, right on schedule as always. Now, Vic Fangio came to the press conference podium last week, truthful as ever, like always, and gave the rundown as to what the defense will look like. Injury updates in 2025 about Jahai Campbell. Fangio told the media exactly what to look out for on defense and here what to expect to see this season also. Like Coop at cornerback 2 on the outside and base defense. But get this, he says he's going to try Coop on the outside and at safety according to the development of the new guys, of course. But let's not forget, DeJean did practice with Super Bowl winning safety Ryan Clark, who was a dominant safety in his heyday. But if Coop can get some reps at the safety position, that's going to be massive. And like I said in my last video, Cooper DeJean was and still is a Swiss Army knife in college, where he played kick return, safety, and cornerback. And it's definitely safe to say now that his stock has catapulted.
What are you looking to find out about Cooper as you're trying him out at base, that corner, in that plan right now?
With Cooper DeJean? Yeah, we'd like to keep him at nickel. And then in our base package, we'll find a spot for him, either at corner or safety.
What's the benefit of someone who can play inside at nickel and outside in base? Because you'd have to find, someone at corner at the nickel size with like 80% of snaps.
Yeah, I think a lot of it will end up depending upon how the rest of the guys develop and where do we most need them. So it will be determined by what's best for him and what's best for the team. And it'll probably, what's best for the team will win out in that decision. But he's capable of playing corner and he's capable of playing safety.
Situation.
Yeah, well, Zach can play either spot. Again, that will, just like with Cooper, wherever we need him the most, what's best for the team, which will be determined some by who the next guy is, until Nakobe comes back, which, he won't be back for a while. That'll be TBD, that'll be a good question after 2 preseason games.
What do you like about the idea of Cooper at safety, and what will go into determining whether he plays at safety or the outside?
Well, I think he would play very well at safety. I think it suits his skill set, things that he does well. I just think he would do very well in there. How many, you guys, we played 21 games last year. How many base snaps do you guys think we played?
20%.
75? No, you're way off.
30.
10%, 15% around.
Yeah, about 160 total.
So
is that part of your philosophy of having your 5 best defensive backs out there in the secondary, no matter?
Well, in last year's case, we evolved to that because once Cooper started to play very well, it got him on the field more. It was a much better fit for our edge guys. They could play nickel end instead of having to play 3-4 outside backer. So last year, it was a good fit for where we were personnel-wise. This year, that could change.
What kind of role do you envision for Jahad Campbell, and specifically as a pass rusher, how do you evaluate him?
Well, right now, he's working at ILB because there's a lot more to learn there. So that's where we'll start him. He won't hit the practice field until, sometime in August. So we're doing all we can. He's doing all he can in meetings. We're doing all we can with him on the field. I take him to the side and do an individual drill with him that's suited to what he can do right now. So he's working good and trying to pick it up.
When you see him, though, do you see pass rush upside with Jahad?
Potentially.
What would it take to realize that?
Getting him out there.
The Eagles will have one training camp practice open for fans on Sunday, August 10th at 6:30 p.m. So be sure to get your tickets. They are $10 and will go on sale June 12th, 10 a.m. So be sure to get those as soon as they are available to you. And the fans will have a lot to be excited for in this year's practice, especially with all of the new additions, draft picks, free agents, and to see some of the star players in their consecutive years going down the line, like Saquon Barkley, who's in like his 7th year, but his 2nd year in Philly green. So we're happy to see that. Also ready to see him in his year 2 Philly green. And I want to see if he can go for another 2K, maybe 1900. Who knows? Excited about this year's squad. Let's get the channel to 2,000 subscribers so you can have a chance to win Eagles tickets of your choice, home or away. You know the routine. Like, comment, and subscribe. Your contributions and appreciation is appreciated over here at the Eaglecentric. Thanks for watching once again. Be blessed. Go Birds.